Hey, I'm CDiinky. Okay guys, in today's video we will be going over a grounded New Game Plus boss guide. This video will have every single boss included except for the Haze Lab boss fight because that's just an infected ladybug. But today we are going to be going over all the bosses inside of grounded New Game Plus. We are going to be doing this on New Game Plus 2 because in New Game Plus 2 some of the bosses get new attributes. For example, the Mantis boss now summons in a mini Mantis. Now if you are in a higher New Game Plus, obviously the bosses are going to be a lot more tougher and you're going to need to be a lot more prepared. So if you're in a high New Game Plus, make sure you are prepared. So starting off with the Assistant Manager. The Assistant Manager is a relatively easy boss fight inside of grounded, especially in New Game Plus if you are prepared. He is weak to busting, salty, and sour damage. So with that in mind, with the build today, we are either going to be rocking a Club of the Melodemon down salty path or the Pucker Thumper, which is going to be already infused with sour. Now depending on which weapon you're going to rock today, for example, I'm going to be rocking the Pucker Thumper. You would like to have a cone with implant weakness sour or salty or even elemental damage up minor, major, or best. But just so you know, having the implant weakness sour is going to give you a 50% extra bonus damage with that element, and then the minor, major, and best are going to do the exact same but have weaker properties. So elemental damage up best is going to give you plus 50%, self damage up major is, I think it's going to give you 25% bonus, and the self damage up minor is going to give you a 10% to 15% bonus. We're also going to be rocking the entire full Fire Ant armor down Sleek, as the corrosion effect is going to reduce his defenses and we can deal a lot more damage, and the Sleek effect only works with the set bonus, which gives us more acid damage. And the reason why we're rocking this today is if you're using a damage over time against robots, the damage over time actually doesn't do anything. So poison and bleed does not affect the Assistant Manager whatsoever. Now with mutations, we are going to be rocking Barbarian because Barbarian is the strongest when using clubs, but you cannot perfect parry, and that's completely fine because I have a few tricks and tips that you can use in this boss fight. So we're going to be using Barbarian, Buff Lungs for extra stamina, Hoop de Gras and Trapper Pip for extra crit chance and critical hit damage, and also Cardio Fan so we can get our stamina a lot quicker. Now with the meals and smoothies today, I'll definitely recommend having one Sticky Liquid Rage, Human Food, Boss Sauce, and also Perfect Toast, which is going to increase your damage, your critical hit chance, your critical hit damage, and the damage you're going to take. So now that we have buffed ourselves up, let's go ahead and start the Assistant Manager boss fight. And for this, straight away, we're just going to go ahead and start whacking him straight away, and you're going to seal the amount of damage we're dealing to him. In just 4 hits, he's already stunned. Super easy boss fight, and just like that, he is already dead. This build is insanely strong against him, but if you want to learn some tips and tricks, let's go ahead and do that. Now when fighting the Assistant Manager, you actually do not need a shield to block his orb attacks. All you're going to need to do is go ahead and crouch up to him and walk, but of course he's going to do his laser attack. When this happens, I would highly recommend you go into third person so you can have a wide range of seeing what is going to happen. And if you're in first person, it's going to be pretty hard to see what's going on when the lasers are going to be spinning around you all the time. Also, when the lasers are out, I would also recommend you go ahead and focus on the ads straight away, as the ads can pile up on you a bunch, and it's not going to be very helpful for you when there's a bunch of ads around the boss fight. If you would like to do the orb attack, as you can see, you can just crouch underneath them and walk into them, and you're going to block that attack 99% of the time. Now he's going to do his laser attack, as you can see, of the blue of his arm. When this happens, you want to stay in the middle pylon. You do not want to go near it. You don't even want to attempt to run in between here because half the time you will get hit. If you do get hit, you will have a lower stamina regen. And now if he pops 2 of them at the exact same time, stay in third person and stay as close as you can to the laser and just follow it round and round. And this should be the easiest way to counter this, as it's pretty easy, right? You just need to focus on spinning around the laser. Do not jump out in the middle, run far, because then you're going to need to be jumping and following 15 different lasers. Not a tough boss fight, but if you have no idea what you're doing, these lasers and these shocking pillars can definitely be overwhelming for you. So just make sure to keep your cool and you should be fine in this boss fight. Now we are going to be going over the Mant boss fight. The Mant is going to be weak to stabbing and slashing damage, and his elemental weakness is going to be fresh. So with the build today, we are going to be rocking the Breath Slayer, which is available in New Game Plus number 1, which is going to be a slashing fresh weapon. If you do not have the Breath Slayer and you have the Frosted Flake can work, but it's also got a chopping, so you're going to have a 25% less damage or like extra bonus damage, but the Frosted Flake is still pretty strong. But for this, I would definitely recommend using the Breath Slayer, as you're getting 2 extra bonuses against the Mant. Now the trinket for this build, I would definitely recommend having either Implant Weakness Fresh for another extra 50% fresh damage, or even just a fresh damage amp up like Fresh fresh damage major, and if you have both these on the same trinket, that'd be fantastic and it's even better for you. Now for the build, I would go with the bulky fire ant helmet, as this gives the enemy corrosion, which makes you deal more damage to them for a certain amount of time. The sleek chest of the Mother Demon, which is going to give you a poison coating and venom coating, which is going to be damage over time. And then also the assassin Greaves down bulky, which is going to give you Cutman, so after every critical hit you deal, you're going to be dealing a damage over time of bleed. And now mutations for the Mant: if you're rocking the bladed weapon, go ahead and use Blade Master. If you're using the chopping weapon, go ahead and use the chop up mutation. You'd like to also use Coup de Grace and Trap Peeper for increased critical hit chance and critical hit damage. Spicy safety, so the Mant doesn't deal a lot of damage to you, and also when he summons in ants, they won't deal a lot of damage to you because you're going to have it smashing and stabbing resist. And also Ant Annihilator, because the Mant is an ant and he also summons an ant, so you have ant defense and extra ant damage against him. And also the meals and smoothies today, you would like to have a sticky boss sauce, sticky human food, sticky liquid rage, and of the meal, the perfect toast. Having all these combined is going to give you extra damage bonuses, extra critical hit chance, extra crit damage, and extra defense to your character. So let's go ahead and drink all these up and let's start with the boss fight. Now when it comes to the Mant boss fight, the Mant is a little bit iffy, especially in New Game Plus. He can proc his attacks at any time and anywhere, and just like that, we got our poison on him already. Let's go ahead and hit him a few times. As you can see, the amount of damage we're dealing. You just want to make sure when he summons in his ant, you drop aggro straight away, and when he does this attack of his roar, run away from him, because sometimes he can proc all of his mutations on him. When he throws a bomb, do not get hit by that, otherwise that is going to summon in a mini Mant. Just like that, we took out the fire ant. Let's go ahead and take on the Mant once more. After every finale hit with the breast layer, we're going to be dealing a slow AoE, which is going to slow down his attacks as well. Once again, in his second phase, he's going to summon in a soldier ant. When he does that scream again, just run away. That finger attack is very hard to avoid, so just be careful when he does that. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get hit by it. Even if you try to dodge out of the way of the web attack, you are 9 times out of 10 still going to get hit, and you cannot block it with the shield whatsoever. When he squats down, of course, just run away from him. Don't get hit by that explosive attack. If it does, then all of his modifiers are going to proc all at once, and you're going to pretty much die. There's really not a lot of technical stuff to it. As you can see here, we moved, and just like that, we can't really dodge that attack at all. You're going to get hit by a Sour Orb or any modifier, but it should be completely fine if you got hit once. If a bomb hits you at all, and it hits you like this, he is going to summon in a baby Mant, which is not going to be ideal, especially when there's 2 bosses in the boss fight. As you can see, I went down to 1 HP. When he does that attack, you just want to make sure you run away from him, and he can summon in multiple Mantises at the same time, or Mant, I should say. The baby Mant isn't really that strong, but he is still another boss in the boss fight, right? You do not want to have more than you need. And one thing I should also say, with the Mant, whatever modifier he has in the boss fight, he is always going to have. When you start a new world, for example, the Mant is going to be summoned in, and he is always going to be with the same modifiers. So even if I reload, save, and kill the Mant over and over and over, he is always going to have the sour and fresh modifiers for New Game Plus number 2. Obviously, this will change when you go into a different New Game Plus, but just like that, the Mant isn't too hard. If you're rocking this exact build and you know what you're doing, the boss fight should be very easy for you. Now we are here in the Director Schmector boss fight. Director Schmector is just like the Assistant Manager, but slightly tougher. Instead of summoning robots, he summons in spiders. And now Director Schmector is weak to busting and sour damage, and pretty much resistant to everything else. So make sure you have a busting, sour, damaging weapon for the best damage possible. So you can either use the Pucker Thumper once again, or you can use the Club of the Mother Demon down the sour path. But for this video, I'm going to be using the Pucker Thumper because after every third hit, I get a finale aftershock of sour, which is going to stun Director Schmector even more. And just like the Assistant Manager, every single time you hit a stun or a crit stun on Director Schmector, it is going to stun him from his attacks. So having a high damage, high stun is going to be the best for this build. And now for the trinket today, you would like to have the Implant Weakness Sour, which is going to give you a 50% extra bonus damage to sour attacks. You can also go ahead and have sour damage up minor, major, or best, and even you can have critical hit chance as well if you like to crit more attacks on him. Now for the armor set, once again, we are going to be going with the Fire Ant armor set, as Director Schmector is immune to poison, bleed, and any damage over time effects. So having the entire Fire Ant set is going to give us the acidic damage, and also is going to give us corrosion, which is going to reduce Director Schmector's defense. Now for mutations, I would recommend Barbarian, but if you're not comfortable with Barbarian, you do not need to have Barbarian equipped. But if you have Barbarian, it's going to make your life a lot more easier, and you're going to be dealing a lot more damage against Director Schmector. Also, Coup de Grace and Trap Peeper for increased critical hit chance and critical hit damage. Cardio Fans, we can go ahead and get our stamina back a lot quicker. K Fans, we can go ahead and get our stamina back a lot quicker. And also Spicy Safety, just for his spider, just for his Orb-Weaver Juniors that he summons in, as the Orb-Weaver Juniors do stabbing damage, and having like 50% damage resistance to stabbing is going to be amazing for us. Now, Smoothies and meals, once again, we would like a sticky boss sauce, human food, liquid rage, and perfect toast for increased damage, increased critical hit damage, increased crit chance, and increased damage resistance. And now when you're going ahead and fighting Director Schmector, make sure his modifiers do not have venom or the sour orb attacks. Otherwise, this is going to make the boss fight 10 times harder than it's going to need to be. So we got the venom on here, which is not what we want, but we'll just go ahead and go with it anyway. And just like the assistant manager boss fight, you can actually go ahead and dodge his orb attacks without needing a shield. All you need to do is go ahead, crouch underneath him, and walk straight into him. But of course, he's going to do that one attack that hit me for some reason. Director Schmector's boss fight's a bit wonky when it comes to his modifiers. But if I can just go ahead and show the missing of the orb attacks. I don't know what is hitting me. Like, I'm very confused. But this boss fight, once again, very, very odd. Let's go ahead and walk into him. He doesn't really want me to do anything. Okay, here we go. Once you do this attack, crouch, walk into him. 99% of the time, you're going to dodge the orb attack. But with this boss fight, I would highly recommend you do not worry about killing him as slow as you can. You want to kill him as fast as you can so he doesn't summon in any of his spiders, doesn't summon in any of his lasers. Because if he does, it's going to make the boss fight 10 times harder, trust me. And if he gets in Infused Orb Weaver Jr., that is going to be terrible. And as you can see, when the lasers come out, make sure to run to the far side of the wall when the lasers cannot hit you. And try and kill him from the back of the wall. Make sure you do not go out into the arena. That is going to be a death sentence, as the lasers can be slow or super fast. We're getting lucky and getting no Orb Weaver Juniors. Go ahead and kill him. Now, when you fight Director Schmector, I would highly recommend you go in, be aggressive, attack him as much as you can. Do not be defensive unless you're low, of course. You want to make sure you get as much damage in as you can and kill him as fast as you can before he summons in his lasers, his orbs, his Orb Weaver Juniors, because if he does, you're pretty much going to die 99% of the time. Now we are in the Hedge Broodmother boss fight. She is going to be weak to the slashing effect, and she's going to have the elemental weakness of the spicy effect. She's also resistant to a bunch of other effects as well, so make sure you have a slashing spicy weapon for the max amount of damage. So for the build today, you can go ahead and use the Spice Katana, which is going to be slashing and spicy. You can go ahead and use the Toenail Scimitar or any bladed weapon that's down the spicy path. And if you want, you can also go ahead and use the Pepper Flake if you would like. If you like battle axes like I do, you can go ahead and use the Pepper Flake. But just so you know, the Hedge Broodmother is resistant to 50% chopping damage, I believe. So if you rock this, you're going to be dealing a lot less damage than, say, if you have the Spicy Katana or the Spicy Toenail Scimitar. I would also highly recommend that you go ahead and use the Spicy Staff in this boss fight, because her summons can be quite annoying, and just shooting the Spicy Staff once can just go ahead and take out her ads straight away. With the trinket today, you would like a trinket with either Implant Weakness Spicy, so you have 50% extra damage to the spicy element, or Spicy Damage Up Minor, Major, Best. And in the worst case scenario, you can go ahead and have the Crit Damage Up Minor, Major, or Best as well. For the armor set today, we're going with the Fire and Helmet down bulky, so we have the Corrosion effect, so we can put more damage in when she has lower defenses. The Chest of the Mother Demon for Poison Coating and Venom Coating. It doesn't do a lot against the Hedge Broodmother, but it is a high resistance armor set, and the damage over time always helps. And also the Assassin Grease down bulky for the Cutman, so after every time we hit a crit, we are going to be dealing a bleed damage over time. Now with the mutations, if you're rocking a bladed weapon, go with Blade Master. If you're rocking an axe weapon, go with Chopper. But for this video, I'm going to be going Blade Master. And also make sure you have the Whittle Wizard mutation at least phase 1, so your Spicy Staff can have the burn effect, which is going to be very effective against the summons. Make sure you have Coup de Grace and Trapper Peeper for extra critical hit damage and critical hit chance. And also Spicy Safety, so you have reduced damage when versing the spiders and the Broodmother, which do stabbing damage. And now of course, the smoothies, you would like one sticky boss sauce, human food, liquid rage, and perfect toast. So you have increased damage, increased critical hit chance, increased crit damage, and increased defense to your character. Now the modifiers in this boss fight, they're kind of okay. The modifiers aren't that difficult when versing the Hedge Broodmother. The only modifier I would definitely say look out for is probably the poison hit, because if you have the Broodmother venom on you and the modified venom on you, it's going to do a bunch of damage to you. But as you see here, we have got the electric on hit and the spicy on hit, which is going to be fine. As you can see, the amount of damage we're dealing. And you can also parry her screams now without needing a shield. So you go ahead and parry those, and it also is going to give you every single time a damage reduced. So after every single time she does a phase transition, you're going to get a reduced attack damage. Not much you can do about that, but it is what it is. And with the Spicy Staff, when she summons in, just go ahead and hit her summons once, and just like that, either the Spicy Burn or the AoE hit effect is going to take out the Spiderlings almost straight away. So if she's far away like that, I can go ahead and hit her a few times, get that Spicy Burn on her. She's going to summon it again. We're going to parry that attack. She got an infused spider, so let's go ahead and just use our Spicy Staff all the time. Just go ahead, keep kiting the enemies, and just keep shooting that spicy orb to get that spicy damage over time. With the infused spiderlings or any infused spiderlings, just go ahead and switch to your like main weapon and just take him out. This looks like she has high defense, this spiderling, but it is what it is. She gets faster and faster every single time she goes into a next stage, so like her attack speed ramps up, and even her like any other attack ramps up, so just be careful about that one. Go ahead and keep taking her on until she goes ahead into her third and final phase, where she is going to summon in all of Orb Weaver Juniors, and you know she's about to do that when she's about to scream, so she should scream in just a second. You have to go ahead and see the Orb Weaver Juniors come down. Here they are. She's about to go into her final phase. And just like that, I missed the parry attack, but it doesn't really matter. We have no random modifiers on us. Let's go ahead and just shoot our spice staff on the spiders. As you can see, the Hedge Broodmother is attacking super duper quick now because she is in her final phase. All the spiders should be dead in just 1 second. One bad thing you need to worry about for is when using the staff attacks, if you use it an attack, you can't block for a few seconds. So as you saw in there, I got hit by an attack once, so just be careful about that one. Now after she's gone ahead and done her last phase with all the Orb Weaver Juniors, she can still scream, but she won't summon in any more spiders. So after you take out those 4 Orb Weaver Juniors, it is completely just you and the Hedge Broodmother now. And after that, it's relatively easy to kill her if you just don't get hit like I just did. And just like that, Hedge Broodmother boss down. Majority of this fight is going to be RNG, so if the Hedge Broodmother has bad modifiers and her summons are going to be infused, you might as well just reset and try again. And here we are in the Orchid Mantis or the Mantis boss fight. The Mantis is only weak to the element of the salty attack, so any salty weapon will work in this boss fight because as you can see here, she is resistant to every other weapon element in the game besides unarmed attacks if you want to count that. So with that in mind, with the build, you would either want to rock the Salt Morningstar with the Fire and Shield. If you are not comfortable rocking the Club of the Male Demon or a two-handed weapon, I would definitely recommend having the Salt Morningstar and a Fire and Shield. But if you're more confident fighting the Mantis without needing a shield half the time, go ahead and rock the Club of the Male Demon. You're going to be dealing a lot more damage, and the only downside to having a shield with the Salt Morningstar is if you have a shield out, you're going to be dealing 20% less damage on every single hit if you have your shield equipped. And even if you are rocking the Club of the Male Demon, I would also definitely recommend you still bring in a shield just in case. And now the trinket today, you would like to have an Implant Weakness Salt, which is going to give you plus 50% extra damage to the Salt element. You can also have Elemental Damage up Minor Major Best, Crit Damage up Minor Major Best, or even plus Boss Damage or plus Mantis Damage. It all really doesn't really matter, but just make sure you have at least an Implant Weakness Salt or Salty Damage, and possibly even Boss Damage if you would like. With the armor set today, just like the Hedge Broodmother, we would like the Bulky Fire Rain Helmet for corrosion so we can deal more damage to the Mantis when we have the effect on her, the Chest of the Male Demon for extra defense, and the Sleek Path for poison coating and venom coating for poison damage over time, and the Bulky Assassin Groove, so after every time we hit a crit, we are going to be dealing a bleed over time. And now with the mutations today, I would recommend you bring along 2 mutation armor sets. The only difference between these 2 is one does not have Barbarian and one does have Barbarian, and I'll tell you later why you would like to have one mutation slot to have Barbarian on it. But for today, if you're rocking a two-handed weapon such as the Club of the Male Demon, I would recommend having Parry Master, so after time you hit a parry, you're going to get stamina back, Buff Lungs to have increased stamina, Coup de Grace and Trapper Peeper for increased critical hit damage and critical hit chance, and also Cutty Fan to regen stamina a bunch. And just so you know, having Spicy Safety in this boss fight does not do anything, so make sure you do not rock this while in the boss fight. And the meals and smoothies today, we would like 1 Sticky Boss Sauce, Human Food, Liquid Rage, and Perfect Toast for increased damage, increased crit chance, increased critical hit damage, and increased resistance to our character. Now in the boss fight, the Mantis in New Game Plus, in my opinion, is the most difficult boss fight in the entire game because she has multiple Mantis summons which can have their own modifiers, which make the boss fight a lot worse, I should say. And the modifiers you don't want on her is having the Venom on hit, because every time she's going to Screech, she's going to go ahead and proc that Venom on hit, and when she screams the first time, she's going to summon in a Mini Mantis. And when the Mantis is stunned, go ahead and swap over to your Barbarian mutation to deal as much damage as you can before she gets back up. And just like that, we've almost killed her straight away. Now in high New Game Pluses, if you do get her to a certain health bar, she's going to summon in a second Mantis. So make sure you do not get her below half HP in like New Game Plus 4 or something. And now when she has the baby Mantis, definitely drop aggro off the big Mantis and focus on the mini Mantis. And how do you do that? The only way you can go ahead and kill the mini Mantis is by kiting the mini Mantis around the big Mantis, so you would like you do not want them to clump up right here. So here we are, we now have an opportunity to go ahead and take on the mini Mantis. With the big Mantis nowhere near us, I believe. We got time to get a few attacks in, just like that, run away once again. We now have a chance and opportunity to attack the mini Mantis. I did get hit once, but that's completely fine. We're going to be a bit aggressive here, trying to take out that mini Mantis. You know, have another opportunity to hit the Mantis, like maybe once or twice. Just make sure you do not get overwhelmed, because this can happen. As you can see just there, I almost died. Now have another opportunity to take out the Mantis, and just like that, the Mantis is dead. And now we can just go ahead and be full aggressive to the Mega Mantis, or the Big Mantis I should say. The boss fight is 10 times easier when it's just a one-on-one boss fight. She's going to Screech once again, get us that imperfect block timer and that venom damage over time, which is going to hurt us quite a bit. Okay, that was a bit scary. I almost died there because I missed a one parry. This boss fight is the most difficult in the entire game. I do not blame you if you're struggling on this boss fight. Hopefully this build does help, but this boss fight, you're going to need to know what you're doing in this boss fight, otherwise it's going to be a hell of a pain for you. Now here we are in the Wasp Queen boss fight. Just like the Mantis boss fight, the Wasp Queen is only weak to the elemental weakness of the salty attack, but this time she's also not resistant to the busting damage. So for this boss fight, we're going to be rocking the Club of the Mellow Demon down the salty path once again. This is like one of the best all-round weapons, that's why it's in so many of the builds in this video. Now also for this boss fight, I would also recommend bringing in the Spicy Staff for once again when she summons in her drones and her wasps, because if you just shoot one of these boss attacks and you have the Whittle Wizard mutation equipped, it's going to kill the wasps in one hit and you don't need to worry about them too much. I would also highly recommend bringing in a shield as well, so you can block the poison orb attacks or the poison barb attacks, but I have a little trick where you can dodge the attack every single time. We're going with the Fire Ant Helmet once again with the corrosion for the increased damage we're going to deal against the bosses. The Chest of the Mellow Demon, the Wasp Queen is like a 90% resistant to any poison / venom damage, but just having this bulky defense and the extra damage over time, it does help a little bit in this boss fight. And the Assassin Greens for the Cutman, so after every single time we do a critical hit, we are going to deal a damage over time bleed. Now for this build, I would recommend having Whittle Wizard, so we have this to pair with our Spicy Staff, our Crit Mutation for increased critical hit chance and critical hit damage, Cardio Fan to get our stamina back, and also Spicy Safety to block some of the stinger attacks that the wasps can deal. And now the smoothies and meals for this boss fight I would recommend is 1 Sticky Boss Sauce, Human Food, Liquid Rage, and Perfect Toast for increased damage, increased critical hit chance, increased critical hit damage, and increased damage resistance to your player. And also make sure to bring some Waspidotes to cure your poison and also give you poison resist. And I also forgot to mention with the Science Cone or the Trinket, you would like to have any sort of salt damage, such as Implant Weakness Salt for 50% extra salt damage, any elemental damage up salts such as minor, major, best. You can also have crit damage, minor, major, best. You can also have plus boss damage and plus Wasp Queen damage. It really doesn't matter, just having one of these to increase your damage in this boss fight is key. Now once we are in this boss fight, we'll go ahead and summon in the Wasp Queen. The only thing you do not want the Wasp Queen to have realistically is probably high defense, because if the Wasp drones keep healing her, she has high defense, it's going to be very tough to kill her, but even with the high defense it should be easy. So when finding the Wasp Queen, the second she summons in, for some reason she didn't summon in wasps, but anyway, go ahead and just start whacking her. She just landed in front of my face. This is a perfect opportunity to deal as much damage as we can, and as you can see, on one landing phase, we have dealt almost half of a health bar, which is just insane. Let's try and get a bit more damage in. When she does this stinger phase, just jump to the left and right of her to dodge the poison orb attacks. You have time to attack her as well. You can also jump to make her shoot it further, but just like that there, I missed both of them. She's going to give me a second chance to show it off again. She's probably about to summon. Yep, she summons in. We're going to shoot the drones and the wasp drone as well. Hopefully take these guys out. Just going to go ahead and keep shooting these drones. And when the poison orbs and barb attack comes out, you can just jump to the left or right. When she does that one spinning attack, just make sure you sit underneath her so that you can dodge the attacks. Stinger attack, we want to jump to the left and right and also jump to dodge the attack straight away. We're also going to wait to get our stamina back up. She's going to summon again. She is quite annoying. Let's go ahead and take out these wasps just by shooting our Spicy Staff at them. Now, when the Wasp Queen lands, you can also go ahead and drop aggro and just chuck them on the Wasp drone if it's still alive, just like that. And just the amount of damage we are dealing against the Wasp Queen is just purely insane. I have no idea what she's trying to do now. She's going to do this one attack again. Just make sure you stay close to her. You should 9 times out of 10 dodge all the poison attacks, even if she's close to the wall. She's going to show it again. Just make sure you stay really close to her. Just don't stay too close to her, just in case she puts poison orbs on the sides of the arena. But just like that, this build is super strong. And the one thing I don't like about this boss fight is every single time you hit a crit, it is going to boost the wasps and the Wasp Queen in the air, which is actually quite annoying. There we go, she's going to summon in once more, getting 2 of the drones in her final phases. Or just maybe the one for some reason. Let's go ahead and just focus the drone. Just like that, drone's dead. I have no idea where the other wasp went. I don't know why there was only two. Go ahead and just take her out. Bang, just like that. Shoot her with the spicy attack. She's going to do this one orb, like poison orb attack again. Pretty easy to dodge. Just go ahead and keep attacking her. Just run to the left or right. And you should 9 times out of 10 miss him. Just make sure if you do get hit by those attacks, you're going to get healing reduced. In this boss fight, you do not want healing reduced. I'm telling you that right now. Relatively easy. Should be summoning in just a second as well. There we go. We're going to get our stuff out straight away. We're going to hit the wasp drone and the regular wasp. And also in the medium difficulty, I believe that one of the wasps can be full HP. So be careful about that one. So it does seem like this main wasp is full HP. She's going to do that stinger attack again. We'll just go left and right and dodge the attack. Get a few crits in, and we're about to kill the Wasp Queen. Main key is making sure you have the spicy staff when she summons her drones. And when she does have her drones out, make sure you drop aggro off the Wasp Queen and take out the drones and the wasps straight away. Now we are here in the final boss fight for today's video, the Infected Broodmother. The Infected Broodmother is only weak to the elemental of fresh, and she is resistant to the element of salty and spicy, but anything else goes. So what is the best weapon when versing the Infected Broodmother? Long story short, it is going to be the Toenail Scimitar down fresh. The reason why the Toenail Scimitar is so strong is because of the infection effect, and with the infection effect applied after every hit, it is going to reduce the enemy's attack and attack damage by 10%. So for this boss fight, we are going to be rocking the Toenail Scimitar down the fresh path. Also, I would highly recommend you bring in a either fire ant shield, a ladybird shield, the infected ant shield in this boss fight just for stage 3, because even I, CDiinky, sometimes struggle in this boss fight and I will need to rock a shield in stage 3 because she attacks way too quick. For the science cone today, I would highly recommend you have at least 2 of these effects when versing the Infected Broodmother, either implant weakness fresh damage up major, minor, or best, and even crit damage major, minor, or best, or plus boss damage, plus Infected Broodmother damage. Just make sure for this boss fight you have at least 2, because this boss fight is really tanky and has 3 phases. Having 2 of these modifiers is going to help you out a bunch. Now for the armor set today, we are going with the bulky fire ant helmet for the corrosion, so we are going to have reduced armor against the Infected Broodmother and deal a bunch more damage to her. The termite armor down sleek for the dust cloud, so we have a chance to proc a dust cloud which slows down the Infected Broodmother's attacks, so it's going to be easy for us to parry and have time to heal and stuff like that. And the assassin greaves, so we have the cutman, which is going to apply a bleed after every critical hit for a bleed damage over time. Although she is still resistant to 70% of bleed damage, having any damage over time is key in this boss fight. Now for mutations, I would recommend having Blade Master, Coup de Grace Trap Appeal for increased crit chance and crit damage, Spicy Safety because the Infected Broodmother does stabbing damage, and also Corporate Kickback, which is going to give us a lifesteal after perfect blocking or blocking for a small amount of time. And now the smoothies and meals I would recommend in this boss fight, once again a Sticky Boss Sauce, Human Food, Liquid Rage, and Perfect Toast for increased damage, critical hit chance, and also damage resistance to your player. And finally, the main smoothie you would like to use in this boss fight is Beefy Fuzz on the Rocks, which gives you maximum HP because you would like to have the most amount of maximum HP in this boss fight. And even if you have like plus 20 extra HP from the smoothie, it could possibly save you in this boss fight. Now just before we get into the boss fight, in stage 2 and 3, the Infected Broodmother does a roar, and as you can see on the ceiling, she is going to drop down some bomb attacks. So where is the best place to stand when these bomb attacks go off? First of all, this one location over here is the best spot in the entire boss fight arena because the bombs cannot attack you if you stand in this one area. So this is where the majority of your fighting should be, in this one corner here. If for some reason this area is compromised and she does her bomb attack, you can also go ahead and run over to this little spot here. Right where this one dead red ant part is, you can stand up here like on the wall if you would like to, and this should block all the bomb attacks as well. And if both of these areas are compromised, the final area I would definitely recommend that you can go ahead and run to is over here in this other fire ant red, or this red ant part, and just walk up the wall. This should 9 times out of 10 block all the attacks as well. So there's 3 areas you can go just in case you go ahead and get an area compromised and you need somewhere to run quick before the explosive attacks go off. Also, just make sure the Infected Broodmother is not in the puddle because she will get lifesteal, infection, and critical hit damage against you, and that's not fun. Let's go ahead and summon in the Infected Broodmother. The modifiers you do not want the Infected Broodmother to have is possibly the Venom on hit, the high defense, and the electric on hit as well. If she has high defense, just reset, it's gonna make the boss fight like 10 times like longer. So just make sure she doesn't have that. Fingers crossed she does not have the high defense. She has the spicy and the sour staff attacks. That is completely fine. We have got our Dust Cloud procced. As you can see, we are proccing it way too much, so she can just barely get any attacks off. If you're not comfortable perfect blocking at all in this boss fight, just make sure you have a shield out during the entire boss fight. But if you have a shield out, you're going to get minus 20% damage on every single hit. And when she does have like the spicy modifier or any other of these staff modifiers on her, and she's about to phase transition, make sure you go ahead and hit her a few times, have a shield out, hit her once, like just like that, and she can sometimes proc out her sour orb and her spicy orb. So just be careful, just make sure when she's phase transitioning, you do not stand too close to her because she will just proc her modifiers out at you. And here we are in the second phase. She's about to scream. This scream can be parried with just a weapon and no shield equipped, so make sure you go ahead and parry them, otherwise you're going to get a damage reduced. I believe she is glitching inside this wall. Having reduced damage in this boss fight is terrible because after every explosion attack that hits the infected Broodmother, it will heal her, so just be careful about that one. Also, Swan Dust Cloud, make sure you stay out of it as much as you can, as that is going to reduce your healing even more. But as you can see, the boss fight is relatively easy with our trinket and our weapon modifiers. We're just dealing in way too much damage. Here we are, she's about to scream once more. You're going to hit her once and block straight away so we can block these attacks and don't get unnecessary damage on us. And now in the final phase, make sure you rebuff yourself with all your smoothies just in case they have ran out. And also, I would highly recommend just equipping a shield to block all the attacks. You're going to have a little bit less damage, but I would rather you survive than having less attack damage, you know what I mean? If you want to be a bit risky, you can go ahead and just unequip your shield every now and then to block a few, like to get extra damage in. But as you can see there, just like that, she tried to pull a sneaky on me, and she tried to do all of her, like, her super fast attack on me at once, which wasn't that fun. She also has a chance to shoot a bomb at you. When she shoots a bomb at you, make sure you do not get directly hit by it, as this will proc the modifiers on that bomb, and you can almost die every single time. Trust me about that one. Block all the bombs. Here we go. She's about to shoot her bomb. For some reason, that did not hit me at all, which is a little bit strange. That does happen sometimes. Some of her attacks can actually miss you, so just be thankful it does, because the grounded gods are blessing you. But here we are, about to kill the infected Broodmother, just like that. Let's go ahead and just style on her. Just go ahead, 360, throw the sword at her, just like that. Also, a quick note, when the infected Broodmother on stage 3 is just about to die, she does like to go ahead and swap up her attacks to try and fake you out. Just make sure you don't get faked out by that and just keep attacking her or be defensive and take her out. Well, that there is going to be the end of today's video. Hopefully this video isn't too long, and I'm hoping you guys did enjoy this video of the complete boss guide. We went ahead and went over the assistant manager, director Schmector, the Mant, the Hedge Broodmother, the Wasp Queen, the Mantis, and the infected Broodmother. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and even a comment down below if you guys did enjoy this video. And with all that said, guys, I will catch you guys in the next video.